So, Hudson, I know you like movies.
I do, and TV.
Well, today we're going to be talking about that in Life, the Universe, and Pie.
So this is our next episode.
Our next episode. We have learned not to say the episode number because we never know in what order we're going to put them on. Specifically, had to do that in our last episode. We had to edit us out saying a certain number.
So, I haven't really been watching too much TV lately.
I actually have. In the past 2 days, I watched the entire first season of Gravity Falls.
Oh, Gravity Falls. I wish I could rewatch that. I mean, I can, but it's just not the same.
Turns out that I'm going to have to buy the final season because it's not on Hulu.
It isn't?
No, I'm sad. Huh. And it's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime Video.
Netflix? Really?
It's not on anything. And so I was lucky to find the first two on Hulu for free, which was good.
It seems like on Netflix, people love Netflix, but it seems like every movie or TV show that I want to watch on Netflix, it isn't there.
Actually, here's a funny story. Christmas Eve, me and my family and I, actually, except for my parents, my grandparents come over and stay the night on Christmas Eve. It's kind of like a family tradition that goes back a while. Mm-hmm. So my parents were kind of going crazy getting all the rooms fixed in the house so that people would have a place to sleep. And me and my sister and our grandparents were kind of bored just sitting there doing nothing, and so we decided to watch Pirates of the Caribbean on the TV because none of us had ever seen it. Mm-hmm. And we didn't realize it was like a 3-hour long movie.
Oh yeah, that's one of those really long movies like Transformers.
Yeah, and so we got like an hour in, and my sister she was like, I'm going to bed, and so she went to bed, and one of my grandmas had already gone to sleep. So it was just me and my other grandma. And anyway, besides the point. Long movies. So we watched through like maybe another 30 minutes of it, and then we realized how long it was, and we both went to bed. Anyway, next morning we get up. Well, Christmas. Day after that. Day after Christmas, we get up, and my sister's like, hey, let's finish Pirates of the Caribbean. We go on to Netflix, and it's not there anymore. They literally took it off on Christmas Day. It's not on Netflix now.
Oh my god. So wait, they took it off
literally
while you were watching it?
Not while we were watching it. We stopped watching it, and then the next day they took it off.
In the middle of it, you paused it,
So, that's annoying.
And I think maybe we should make this an episode of its own, but one TV show that you have talked about and watched so many hours of.
Oh, yeah. Doctor Who. Everybody loves Doctor Who.
I haven't watched too much of Doctor Who, like 1 or 2 episodes.
Actually, Hudson doesn't like Doctor Who.
Yeah. So I don't think that I could talk about that for too long, but I think you could just
in which case we should probably put it into this one, so we can talk about Doctor Who in a bit. Back to the point, Netflix, that's happened a few times where there have been either a series that I've liked that has been taken off. When I was really young, there was this one about a dog that was a spy, and I was like, I loved it. It was awesome. And then one day it just wasn't there anymore, and I hadn't finished the series, and I was sad.
Excuse me.
Sympathetic sneezes of joy.
Yeah. What? Okay. Well, so in the past like months or so, what do you think is is your favorite movie? I haven't really had that many favorite movies. There's just so many of them. I just don't know.
Well, I got to think about this. I liked Thor Ragnarok. It really put a new spin on the Thor series. It was much funnier
Great effects.
Than the last 2 Thor movies. I have to say, I also really enjoyed the new Star Wars movie. And if we're talking TV series, then I would say that even though I've only started it in the past couple of days, Gravity Falls is, like, great.
Yeah. And if you haven't watched it or heard of it, even though we know it is a cartoon and it looks like it's for little kids, but
it's not.
It can...
And it's the creators are very, very good about putting in, like, mysteries in it that are not explained on the TV show, and little tidbits of things that, even though the TV show has ended, there are still, like, hundreds of little clues left in the TV show to some big mystery or something like that.
I don't know if I should say this, but...
No, don't spoil anything.
Because it was this cool thing that happened after the show ended, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it for you.
I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about... Okay, you know what? Never mind. It could be bad, and I don't want to know if it's bad.
It doesn't have to do with the TV show.
Alright, well then tell me.
But it's kind of cool thing that happened. It's like just one little picture at the end of the after the credits of the last episode.
Yeah?
Should I?
You should.
Okay. It's just like this. It's like playing the opening theme song, and then at the last thing, it flashes a little picture, but it's a picture of a Bill statue holding his hand out, and it's real life.
Yeah.
And in like some of the fan written things, not fan written things, some of the like official Alex Hirsch,
who wrote the TV show.
Yeah. He released some stuff, and in it were just random clues that led to the place of the statue.
Yeah, so the statue was a real thing, and there was like I've read about this. There was actually a treasure chest buried next to it that had some tidbits from the show, but I'm pretty sure it has some stuff that would spoil stuff if we talked about it.
Yeah. So people found it. I can't remember when they found it, but pretty recently.
Pretty cool. Anyway, the show it's just brilliant. It incorporates so many things. It has a guy with a fez. If any of you know me, you know I love fezzes. Bow ties. There's an evil villain that's a triangle with an eye with a bow tie and a top hat, and that is why I love the show so much.
Doctor Who bow ties are cool.
It's true. It's just an awesome show, and it incorporates like tons of different things from different TV shows and stuff.
So. Yeah. I haven't really had that many favorite movies lately. Oh wait, there's one movie that didn't actually make that much money, but I really enjoyed. I can't remember if you saw it. I think you did. It's called Hunt for the Wilder People.
I don't think I saw it, but
it's a great movie. It looks like it's really bad. It didn't actually make that much money, but it's really well made, and it takes place in a really beautiful area, and I would definitely recommend it.
Cool. Was that like in movie theaters recently?
It was in movie theaters, but not. I mean, pretty recently. I think 1 or 2 years ago.
Ah.
But yeah.
So not that recently.
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe it was like out like a couple weeks ago or something, and I missed it.
Oh no.
No. Okay.
And it's been my favorite for a while. I don't really have that many favorite movies, I guess.
I mean, movies, there's just so many different genres, and it's just everything.
Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite, if you had to pick one?
Hunt for the Wilder People. Well, right now, because I think that when I grow up, some of the more adult movies that are out right now will become my favorites. But it partially maybe because I don't understand them yet, but I mean, I think when I get older, they could just be more enjoyable for me.
I have to say right now, I kind of have a series of movies. The MCU, the Marvel Connected Universe, I think is what that stands for.
Connected Universe theories and things are cool.
So it's actually every Marvel movie ever is part of the same world, and I think it's really smart because their characters from different movies tie in and combine. In the recent Thor movie, there was Doctor Strange. They're coming out with the new Avengers movies, which will have like literally every character.
That kind of relates to something called the Pixar theory. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of that, and that is another really cool thing. There are lots of things in Pixar movies that all intertwine, and there's this huge. You can look it up, the Pixar theory.
It's kind of like a war going on between animals, machines, and monsters and humans.
It's a really, really interesting, crazy intertwined theory, and I don't even think we should get into it right now. It's just it's insane. There's like little bits of evidence from like every Pixar movie that point to it all being in the same universe, and it's really cool.
One movie that was my favorite for a long time before Hunt for the Wilder People came out. I mean, it was. Have you ever heard of it? The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I have heard of that movie. I have not seen it.
It's not. It has a great story and it has really great visuals.
Isn't it about like a guy who like daydreams or something?
Oh yeah, he kind of like he calls it like getting out of the zone or something, and he just like daydreams really cool stuff. But
that sounds like an interesting movie. Somebody watching daydreams.
That's not the whole movie, and in the movie he just discovers himself while going on really interesting adventures. Like he has to escape like a volcano erupting or something.
Cool.
And it's pretty cool.
Was that a daydream?
That was not a daydream.
Whoa, this guy's like intense.
Sometimes he doesn't really know if it's a daydream or not. So that makes the movie even more interesting.
Cool. So yeah, movies are awesome. I have to call out a movie that I've really enjoyed, which it's a classic movie that I think kind of a lot of people will enjoy, and that is Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, I love Back to the Future.
Brilliantly made.
Number 1 was great. Number 2 was
Meh.
good. 3, did they make a 3? I think
they made a third.
They made a third one.
It wasn't that good. I have to say, another movie that I want to call out is The Matrix.
Shout out to The Matrix.
Yeah. Just The Matrix, that's another one that's really brilliantly put together, and it's another trilogy where the last 2 movies stink.
Yeah, it's just, I can think of at least 3 series that the first movie's really good, and then they just continuously get worse and worse, like Rocky, Jaws, Kung Fu Panda.
Just lots of, actually, I think Kung Fu Panda has like 5 movies or something.
It's 3.
3? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Well, there's a TV show too, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's got like all sorts of different things. That's one movie that started out pretty good, and then it just got.
Number 3 was not okay.
Yeah, it's.
Number 2 was
bad,
a little weird.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on this. I'm not calling myself an expert at all about Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars.
I thought the last 3 movies weren't as good as the originals.
Wait.
I thought they were great, but they weren't like good story-wise. They were kind of repetitive.
What last 3 movies?
Were there was.
You mean the 3 new movies?
New movies, yeah.
So you mean you're talking about 3.5.
Wait, was Force Awakens like half a movie? I mean, Rogue One.
Rogue One was like it's in between the 3rd and the 4th movie. Yeah, and so that's why, actually, I think everybody's seen it by now.
I have not seen Rogue One.
Okay, well, can I give you a small spoiler?
I don't care. Tell me the whole movie.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you the whole movie because some people won't like it. But since all of the actors who played in the 4th movie are either very old or dead, they couldn't They couldn't add any new actors in, and so everybody in that movie who was a main character died at the end.
That's a very good plot device to.
It just basically made it so that they didn't have to explain why they weren't in the next movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of have to agree with you. The new Force Awakens movie was really just kind of a repeat of the original movies.
I mean, it's not. You don't really have to enjoy it. It's just you kind of have to see it.
It's one of those things that
you can't.
If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's something that everybody talks about, and there's just a huge fan base.
Even if you or your friends don't enjoy it, you just have to. It's just part of our modern culture now.
Star Wars is just such a big thing, and they kind of, I feel like, they kind of ruined it by the fact that they wanted to make more money.
Oh, yeah.
Jar Jar Binks was purely a device to get children interested in the movie, and it backfired on them so much.
Yeah.
And it's just, truthfully, that's not.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have added that. If they had kept with the story or made it better, they could have actually probably made more money than they made.
Yeah. So
had they not been trying to get more money.
Yeah. One type of movie that I really enjoy that I think there's a lot of, but I wish there were more, is kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi movies are great.
Although Star Wars, it's not.
I think that's more sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, it's kind of like spaceships and stuff, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like Doctor Who, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like time travel.
And the very concept of defeating the villain, not by killing them or punching them or harming them, by thinking them, by outsmarting them.
Yeah, it's just like
That's what appeals to me about Doctor Who.
Yeah, but are you saying that you don't really like the catching the villain and punching them stuff? Do you think it's like overused?
It's overused. It's good in some movies.
That is practically the plot, and I don't know for like every superhero movie.
It kind of is, except for Doctor Strange. That was a movie where they outsmarted the movie.
That's a super.
They outsmarted the villain.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange. I thought you were talking about Doctor Who for a minute, but
yeah,
I get them mixed up.
It's easy to mix them up.
Yeah.
Strange Who.
Strange Who.
Anyway, so also the very fact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC, they should, if they were smart, or at least I think it would be cool, in my opinion, to see Batman with like the Marvel characters. And in the past, there have been a few comic books where they were like that.
Yeah.
But they never really were that good.
Yeah. When I was I mean, I'm still a kid, but when I was like a younger kid, this is very generic, but I really liked cartoons.
Cartoons are great.
I've just kind of, even though I'm still a kid and I could still enjoy them.
Well, would you enjoy Gravity Falls?
Yes,
there are some exceptions.
It's not one of those mindless cartoons.
Yeah, it's not like I can name a ton. Teen Titans Go.
Oh, nice. No, I'm done. Not Teen Titans Go, please.
Yeah, that's just, it's such a money-making device. They include, literally, it doesn't ever have a plot. It's just fart jokes.
Yeah. I don't know.
And punching people. And instantly healing any injuries they got by the next show.
Yeah. That's one thing I hate about cartoons. They don't follow a story. I mean,
that's another thing. That's another
thing.
Like
Gravity Falls, they can.
Gravity Falls was great because if, say,
Dipper broke his arm or something, they would keep like a cast or bandage on there for like the next episode or two.
Yeah, exactly. And so things stick around. Like, for example, say in Teen Titans Go, some part of their tower gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And say in Gravity Falls, the S on the Mystery Shack falls off.
It stays there the whole time.
The S on the Mystery Shack falls off, and that just stays off for the rest of the series, truthfully.
And then they fix it sometime at the end, I think.
Yeah, but the Teen Titans Go tower, whatever it's called, it's fixed by the next episode. Seems unrealistic.
I don't know how many times it's been fixed.
And there are some series, cartoon series, that you kind of can watch in any order you want, but I prefer Seri. I don't know. What is the plural?
It's series.
But that doesn't make sense.
What?
Okay, fine.
What doesn't make sense? No.
Series.
Tell me what doesn't make sense about it.
It seems like there should be a plural of series. I don't like it being like two same words because then it's confusing.
Seri would be cool.
Seri.
Because
that's like octopus. It sounds so cool.
You know, what about serieses?
Serieses.
Is that
it just sounds off.
Multiple serieses?
I don't know. Anyway, I prefer series that see, that just doesn't sound right, that sentence.
Yeah.
Anyway, I prefer series that you have to watch in an order.
Yeah. They're just so much more gripping.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's just you can actually connect with the characters more.
Yeah. You just said characters, but I think that gives the characters more character.
Exactly. And so that's another thing that's kind of with Doctor Who. You don't have to watch them in order, but it's another one where, I guess because it's live action. Mm-hmm. If somebody sustains an injury, then in the next episode they'll probably still have it. Or if some character dies, then they're dead.
Yeah, that's one thing with
cartoons,
shows in live action. If someone dies,
and
they're dead.
And Gravity Falls is very good about. Do you know what Deus Ex Machina is? I'm not sure I pronounced that right.
I've heard Ex Machina.
So Deus Ex Machina is basically the plot device of something happening at the exact moment when the actors are in trouble. So, for example, say you're being hung off a cliff by an angry mountain lion.
No, it's an ant.
By an angry giant ant who can talk. Yes. And he says, the only thing that will stop me from killing you and throwing you off the cliff would be if you hand me an apple that is exactly 4 centimeters tall and 73 centimeters wide, and that is exactly 3 shades of beige. And
what?
I don't know, I just completely made it up. Some completely unrealistic thing, and you didn't have it before, and then suddenly you reach in your back pocket and you're like, oh yes, I've had it the whole time.
I hate it when cartoons do that. They just reach behind their back.
And they pull it up.
Pull out something huge.
So, in Gravity Falls, they're very good about hinting at it, that something like is about to happen, and then just completely doesn't happen. And they're very good about kind of laughing at that concept of.
Yeah.
So anyway.
One thing that I'm always looking for in movies is comedy. Comedy
is such a big part. And that's kind of, I didn't really enjoy the first 2 Thor movies, just for the fact that they didn't have comedy.
Movies can be really great without comedy, but you just kind of have to have it here and there.
It's not good if you're just sitting watching a boring movie. I mean, documentaries sometimes, but for an action movie, a sci-fi movie, a fantasy movie, any of those.
That's one thing that made me just love Thor Ragnarok just that much more.
Yeah, exactly. Just from the first scene, it was hilarious.
Yeah. And yes.
I want to talk about the Harry Potter movies.
Oh.
Because Steven Spielberg actually wanted to do them, and he wanted to do them animated and combine them all into one movie.
Animated, that would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting, but I don't think it would have been that good.
Yeah.
He also wanted to do that with Calvin and Hobbes, and
Calvin and Hobbes would have been.
The writer of Calvin and Hobbes was very insistent that it wasn't a movie because he thought the magic.
Bill Watterson.
He thought that the magic of seeing Hobbes turn into a what's he called? He's a tiger, and then becoming a stuffed animal. If you actually saw that, it would ruin the fun of it, the magic. He thought it was something that could only be acquired in comics.
I think if they did do a Calvin and Hobbes movie, do you think they should have? Here's two questions. Do you think that they should have had Hobbes look like a real tiger when he was a tiger, or like look kind of as cartoony, upright?
And exactly. That's something that they just couldn't do in a movie because it wouldn't make sense. No matter which way you did it, somebody would say
animated.
That's not how it's meant to be.
It would look fake. And
there's no way you can get it right.
And if a movie was made, should they have it as to if Calvin, like when his mom walked in, Calvin would like go in like a puff of glitter back into a stuffed animal?
Do you mean Hobbes?
Yeah, I mean Hobbes would go into glitter.
Yeah.
Or would he just
1 second he would be there, and 1 second he would be.
Like they pan to his mom and then they pan back.
Yeah.
And then he would be a stuffed animal.
Because both of those wouldn't necessarily look right, and both of those, somebody would get offended and be like, that's not how it's meant to be. And that's something with a comic book, you can kind of interpret it into your own thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting on to comic books, and that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about movies and TV.
Yeah. About Harry Potter, I think the first 2 movies could be much, much better.
I like the first movie. The first half of the first movie.
The second movie?
I didn't like the second half of the first movie.
The second movie could use some work. I think it would be cool if they remade the whole series. Maybe not like the last 4 or 5 movies. Maybe the last 3 or 4 movies because those were good.
Those were, so.
Yeah.
The fact that the last movie was split into the 2-parter really annoyed some people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually doing that again with the Marvel Infinity Wars. It has to be a 2-parter because it's such a big story. And minor spoiler, in the comics, everybody dies.
Oh.
Well, during what the story is of the Infinity Wars. Yeah. Pretty sure they're not going to do that, but,
Yeah, one movie that I really liked when I was younger, and my dad really liked it too, was The Incredibles.
Oh, The Incredibles is great, and they're making a second
Yeah,
Incredibles.
I know. And the trailer for it, the last time I checked, had like 40-something million views.
It was like number 1 on trending at one point.
For a long time.
Yeah, so that's on YouTube, not on like something else. I don't know.
For a while, for right now, let's talk about trailers.
Oh yeah, trailers. So
I can't really talk about them for that much, but I just have one thought about them.
Mm-hmm.
Older trailers, I really like them because they gave out almost nothing about
exactly.
the movie. And just
new trailers give out all the funny parts of the movie.
There's like 2 or 3 trailers.
Yeah.
For each movie.
Why do you do that? What is the point?
It's like trailer number 1 or
it's trailer number 1, the serious trailer. Trailer number 2, the funny trailer. Trailer number 3, the quick trailer.
Yeah.
You have to kind of either watch them all or just choose one that you like.
The quick trailer is usually the first one.
Yeah, the teaser trailer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, teaser trailer. A teaser for a trailer.
Dun dun dun.
And a trailer is a teaser for the movie. Dun dun dun.
Illuminati confirmed. Dun 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 dun.
I don't think we're ever gonna talk about Illuminati.
No, probably not.
I can't really talk about that that much because some people are just like crazy about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's all we have today.
Yeah. So anyway, this has been Life, the Universe, and Pi. Thanks for watching.
Next time.
Yep. Bye.